What's up, YouTube? If you've noticed, I've been selling more 3D printed stuff on the channel, and this is my Ender 3 that I've had forever and ever and ever. It's been moved to a new home because we've purchased something new that we're going to get set up and try our first print on. Right now, this one's just been upgraded. We've put some new springs on it. We've put a new PEI bed on it. We put about $20 or $30 into it to make it a little bit nicer printer. We're going to see how it goes, but in the meantime, we're going to get started on setting up something new. And here is the something new. I did want to give a shout out to American Eagle Hoarder. He spent a couple hours on the phone with me the other night talking through various options and things that we could potentially replace our Ender with that I've had for a few years, and we landed on this Bambu Labs A1 combo. Now, this video is not intended to be a review, just more to share with the community what I got going on. Like I said, I'm trying to sell more and more 3D printed coin materials and anything else that I can print, quite frankly. So I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the box. I'm going to get it set up, do a test print, and I'll show you guys kind of what this looks like along the way. But again, not intended to be a review, but I do hope you enjoy it. So I'm going to get this unboxed and get the assembly started. So as you can see here, we got the box off, which was no easy task, and we've got a lot still here to unpack. Looking at the styrofoam on top, we have lots of little bits and parts which are part of the AMS Lite unit, which is going to allow us to do multicolor printing. So it looks like step one is getting the extra 4 filament extruder out, so we're just getting the pieces out of there, and looks like we're going to assemble that first. So getting through that first layer, here's where we are next. Not sure what all that stuff is, but we're going to find out in a minute. All right, so we've made it through the AMS Lite pieces. Looks like we're now unhousing the whole printer. We will see. I've got a little very tiny instruction booklet here that looks like I need to get everything out before I can get started. So we're starting to assemble the AMS Lite unit. I know it says to install the full printer first, but I just wanted to get this put together and get out of the way. So I got the little toolkit out that it comes shipped with. It's pretty nice. And I thought this was a nice touch as well, that each set of screws comes individually packaged and labeled. So this thing should be a piece of cake to get put together. It looks like it's the AMS Lite, the heat bed, and then the control arm up there. So I don't think this is going to take too long to put together.
20 minutes later.
So about 20 screws later, it is coming together. We are almost done, and it's looking pretty good. Honestly, it's a little more surgery than I thought it would be, but compared to the Ender V1 and V2, they take about an hour and a half to build. I don't know how long I've been at it, but probably only about 20 or 30 minutes, and it's just about done. All right, well, here's what this behemoth looks like with it all done. We're plugged in, and we are getting through the calibration, but it looks gorgeous. Like I said, it took about 25 or 30 minutes to plug in. The one thing I did have to change out was they only gave me about a 3-foot power cable, and I needed a 6-foot one to reach the spot. So let me get through the setup, and we'll get something printing and see how fast this thing can go. So we're still getting through the initial setup here. It takes the unit through a bunch of tests. Right now we're on a vibration compensation routine, and you can maybe hear it in the background there. This thing is vibrating at various frequencies to compensate for that during builds, which is pretty cool. And the other thing that it did right before this one was a motor noise cancellation test. So it's figuring out how to run the motors as quietly as possible, which I think was pretty cool. But just can't wait for all these tests to be done because I want to print out my first little benchy. So checking in over here on my Ender V1, you can see here we're making a little boat benchy. This is kind of what all 3D printers do to benchmark and test quality. We are currently an hour and 22 minutes into this build. Now I know that the Bambu Labs A1, granted not at high quality, but at its fastest speed can actually produce this boat in about 13 minutes. So we're actually going to run that test when we're done. We're not going to do it at its fastest speed, but at its sort of standard speed, and see how they compare. So our Ender 3 wrapped everything up in an hour and 55 minutes for our little benchy. I did pop it off already, and it actually looks pretty good. We got a little stringing in between. But that was an hour and 55 minute build. Now I've got my new Bambu Labs going through its startup procedure. We're going to print the same thing in red here in just a second. and we'll watch it print a little bit of it, but I have a feeling this is going to take about 20 minutes once it gets going. So let's head on over and take a quick look at the startup cycle on that Bambu Labs. So over here, you can see we are in a bed leveling phase. This thing is, it's, you know, the best comparison is like Android to Apple. This thing, there's, you know, it's doing tons of stuff for you. You just say, hey, I want to print something, and it goes through this cycle of cleaning everything out. It goes through this cycle of like leveling the bed and checking the nozzle, and you can see we actually did just start printing here. And I don't know if you in the previous clip saw the speed of the other printout, but this thing is way, way, way faster. So we're not going to film this whole thing. I'll bring you in as we get closer to the end. So bringing you back in here, this thing is just really amazing. When it actually started to print, I believe it said it had about 12 minutes, maybe 13 when it got started. We got about 4 minutes left, and this thing is just banging on through this print. So I'll bring you in and we'll kind of watch the last minute of it because I don't want to take up too much time on this video, but we are talking in 2 or 3 years, a massive leap forward in technology. This thing is just absolutely amazing. All right, well, here we are. It says we've got about 1 minute left. We got about 40 layers to go. We're just gonna watch this thing finish the roof and put the chimney on this thing, and we'll compare it to my previous printer, which took almost 2 hours to print this same thing. There it is, all done. Now it's going to run through some stuff to just purge the rest of the filament out of the tube. Just keep everything clean. Very, very cool. I don't know if that'll just pop off, or there we go. So again, not meant to be a review of this particular unit, but no stringing. I know it's slightly different PLA material, it's a different color, but that came out really, really nice. And there was the one by my Ender 3. And like I said, that one took 2 hours. This one took about 20 minutes. So the stuff I'm 3D printing, I'll be able to mass produce a lot faster. It does come with this AMS Light unit, which allows me to do multicolor now, which is pretty cool. So I'll be hopefully making and showing off some new things on the channel in the near future. And I guess I should show you here. Took us about 20 minutes. And we can reprint it, pick a different color, do whatever we want to do from there, but 20 minutes. Saved me, but I'll have to do the math on it. I'm sure like 95% of the time I was spending previously. So very, very cool. So as you can see, I've been a little busy with my printer. I've had it now for about 2 weeks and I'm absolutely in love with it. It is just, it's not as fast as I thought it would be when doing higher quality prints. And even when doing some of the stuff that I had originally bought it for, which was to make some of my coin related stuff, which we'll show you in just a second. But it's still markedly faster than my Ender 3. Like a tube like this would be about an hour and 35 or 40 minutes, and now these are being made in like 38 minutes or 42 minutes or something like that. So it is much, much faster. The qualities on it is much higher, and I have much more confidence in the levelness of the bed, and so I can print. I actually had somebody purchase these recently since I got this this printer, and they bought, I'm sorry, not this one, they actually bought the orange quarter tube, but they wanted them in blue, and I was able to do 5 at once. And granted, the time does take more the more you print, but I was able to set up 5 to go, hit print, and go to sleep with the confidence that I would wake up in the morning and they would be perfect. So all in all, I'm really happy with this purchase. It's at Micro Center for like $559, and they're running 10% off on it pretty frequently if you use their card. So if you have a Micro Center near you and you're into 3D printing, I can't recommend this thing high enough. Again, not necessarily meant to be a full review, but I just love it, so I want to give it, you know, some praise while I have you here. I did want to show you the few of the things that I have been printing in the last 2 weeks. A lot of this stuff is stuff that I've downloaded from places like MakerWorld, Thingiverse, Printables, places like that. So my son and I are really into One Piece. We're trying to work our way through that anime. So this is just a nice little kind of display that he has in his room that I printed for him that I brought down here to show you. Of course, we had to do a full color Luffy, which we printed. This thing actually comes in 7 or 8 pieces and all pegs together. But this is not painted. This is actually printed with individual PLA material, colored, similar to the show. So very happy with the way that came out. Now, the slicer for this particular unit allows you to take any design and paint it whatever color you like, as long as you have the filament colors to go with it. My latest print, which I absolutely love, is this full colorized kind of Batfleck, right? Ben Affleck inspired Batman bust. So that thing came out really, really nice. Let me grab this guy. He came out super nice. Very happy with the way that came out. And that too is actually sitting in my son's room. Of course, I have my 3D printed tubes, which I use a lot of. I've actually recently used my dime tube to do a dime hunt that I did to re-roll everything. The $50 are my favorite. I use these fairly frequently, but I've used the quarters and the nickels as well. Some other stuff I've printed, just some little trinkets, more benchy boats, another little Batman. Of course, now I can produce my coin wrap re-rollers here, or my whatever coin crimpers, a lot faster. And I've actually picked up a few additional colors, so look for these at gacoinsandcollectibles.com if you're interested in any of the coin-related stuff. And my daughter, for her A5 volleyball team, I actually designed a little bag tag for them to put on their book bags. So we made one of these for everybody and put their name on it. So also very cool, just something little I designed. And this is something I printed last night. This is probably a bit wasteful, and it takes up way more space than it needs to, but it is pretty cool. I found this online where somebody had a design that allowed you to do 10 bars or 10 capsules that actually, oops, knocking stuff over, that printed with a lid that you can put them in there. And with the lid on it, you can stand it up tall, you can lay it down flat, you can turn it sideways, and it holds everything in place. So like I said, they did these for, I think, rounds, bars, and even PCGS holders. So I just printed that last night to see how it would turn out. So all in all, again, really happy with this. If you're interested in purchasing any of the coin-related stuff, I have it on my website. Again, that's gacoinsandcollectibles.com, which I'll link in the description down below. And if there's anything you want printed, anything you see here, any design you have found, I am kind of open for business to print these things at this stage. I haven't thought about how I'm going to price stuff yet, but shoot me an email, gasilverhunter@gmail.com, and we can work out a price. Now, keep in mind, a lot of these things are Creative Commons licensed, so I'm not selling the design or the figure. What I'm selling is my time, my electricity, and the costs of the filament to produce something for you. So for instance, Luffy here took me about 2 days of tinkering with things, with colors, printing it the correct way. So I wasted a ton of filament and a lot of time to get this thing where I was happy with it. So it's not inexpensive to make some of these things, but I enjoy the hobby. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's not typical coin roll hunting stuff, but it is coin roll hunting adjacent because of my main use for it. If you're interested in learning more about this A1 combo, feel free to shoot me an email. There's lots of stuff on YouTube about this, lots of 3D printing channels that are out there that are going to do a much better job getting into the specifics of these things than I will. But for someone who is a hobbyist who enjoys playing with it, it's really something that's kind of out of the box. It's really easy to do and not hard to pick up. So if you did like this one, let me know. Drop on down below, leave me a comment, and click that like button while you are down there. I'd really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel and you like maybe 3D printing, and mainly what I focus on is coin roll hunting, coin collecting, these kinds of things, make sure you do click on that subscribe button. And then click that little bell and select all so you get notified each and every time I release a new video. I'd really appreciate it. Helps the channel grow. Special shout out to all my channel members who support the channel each and every month. This is sometimes where some of that money goes to buy new toys for things that we can do to support the channel. Obviously, things like coin supplies, materials to print new things, it all helps me out. So I really, really appreciate it. With that said, I hope you guys are doing well, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.